Good evening, my friends. The webcast is on the air. I'm your host, Trevor Talbot. My guest tonight is actor Andrew MacDonald-Smith, who just wrapped up a great performance in A Grand Time in the Rapids at the Varscona Theatre. I liked it so much, I saw it twice. And the summer heat wave continues here in Canada, so that's why I'm not wearing a jacket tonight. And I also wanted to dress more casually for our guest, who looks like he's at a beach house. Please welcome Andrew MacDonald-Smith. Thank you for being here.
Very, very glad to be here in this balmy day.
Yes, yeah, you came in all casually dressed, and
Yes.
I felt overdressed with my jacket on.
I think you look great. I think there's even a suit at a rodeo, I think looks great no matter where you wear it. So I think you look great, I look great, we feel great. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. You remind me a lot of Craig Kilborn. Have you ever heard that?
You know, I've never heard that one before. I got Matthew Lillard once. Someone thought I was Matthew Lillard.
No, I don't.
You don't know Matthew Lillard?
I know
He's in
who he is,
Scream.
yeah.
Oh, you don't get it. You don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it.
That's fine. I'm okay with that.
He does the voice of Shaggy.
He is the voice of
Scooby-Doo.
Shaggy. He's a great actor.
He's a really good Shaggy voice.
Yeah, he does it. You're right. And he's great in Scream. But I've never gotten Craig.
Yeah, and I've seen him in all those teen movies that he was in.
Yeah. Oh, he was great. But which of the late shows is he from, Craig?
The Late Late Show with Craig Kilborn.
Right.
Yeah, he took over.
He's from the Late Late Show with
After.
Craig Kilborn. Amazing.
Yeah, after Tom Snyder, before Craig Ferguson.
I don't think I ever saw the Tom Snyder, but I'm so young.
So you want to just do a quick split screen
yes.
into that camera there, and then we can show everyone at home who we're talking about with our Craig Kilborn impersonator and the real Craig Kilborn. And he had a catchphrase at the end of the show where we'd say, "I'm proud of you," when you sign off. So if you want to,
I'm proud of you.
yeah, there you go. It's kind of funny because
I wish I'd heard that more. I'm kidding.
I think that's kind of why he did it.
Yeah.
He would joke about his relationship with his father.
Of course. I can see that. Yeah.
But it's funny because this show and the kind of the format and layout we based on the Late Late Show with Tom Snyder, and then Craig Kilborn took over and Tom Snyder had him on the show. So I feel a little like you're here to replace me or something.
Yeah. No, well, maybe I am. Let's find out. Let's see how tonight goes.
Well, you could if you're staying in town, but you're leaving apparently right away.
I am. I'm going. So I just finished a show and I have a week off before my girlfriend and I go to London for about 3 weeks. She's doing some research in theater, and we're gonna go to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival to just see it. And lots of my family lives in England, and then I come back and immediately turn around and go to Vancouver to do Peter Pan Goes Wrong at the Arts Club
With Belinda Cornish.
with Belinda Cornish. That's right. She's been on this show, and yeah, Belinda and I work a lot together. It's delightful.
And you're both the co-artistic directors of the Teatro La Quintessina.
Yes, very nice.
Yes.
Quintessina. It's always
I
tricky.
mispronounced it when Belinda was here, but I got it right this time.
Right. Did she just get really mad?
No, she just she was very sympathetic.
She's British. She was mad on the inside and fumed about it for weeks. I doubt it. Yes, yeah. We both run Teatro La Quintessina together. We just call it Teatro for simplicity's sake. And we're both very tall, which is always nice. We just side by side, we tall convention all the time together.
Yeah, they were having to adjust the cameras when you came in. Yeah, how tall are you?
I'm 6'4".
Yeah, I noticed when you were in Grand Time in the Rapids, when the door opened and you were standing there, I heard a woman behind me go, "Oh, he's tall."
You know, it's funny because, in A Grand Time in the Rapids, which also starred Farron Timoteo, who is one of my best friends.
And one of the nicest guys, too.
He is absolutely one of the nicest people. He's 5'6", he says. And he and I went to theater school together and became immediately the best of friends. And he and I standing side by side, I think just looks funny.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. And we both appear in that door, but I take up more of the space of the door frame than he does.
It's that tall person, short person thing. I think that's always funny. Like on
Martin
Seinfeld, you had
Jeff and
Kramer and the little person, and they would.
Yeah.
they got a
That's
shoving
right.
match.
I can't remember that character's name. Not Newman, but the other guy. Yeah, tall and short, always funny.
Yeah, but you won't get to play Frankie Valli.
No, he'll play Frankie Valli. That he's built for that. I'll just play everyone who intimidates him in that show. We are doing that together, actually. I'll also be in Jersey Boys as well.
Jersey Boys as well.
That's right. Yeah.
You guys are kind of joined at the hip with everything you're in lately. Then.
Lately it's great because Farron and I are kind of so regularly. We were inseparable throughout theater school, just the best of friends, and then both of us just didn't end up in the same show for almost a decade. And we didn't get to work together, and now we are a lot. And I always would say we have to be contractually obligated to hang out with each other.
Where did you guys go to theater school?
We went to MacEwan. At that time, it was called Grant MacEwan Community College, but it's now MacEwan University.
And was that a musical theater program?
It is. That's right. And it still is. And so, yeah, we went there a number of years ago.
Any crazy times you guys had there, or pranks, or?
Well, boy, I mean,
serious?
no,
You like goofballs.
we were never serious at all. Farron and I became the best of friends within seconds of meeting each other on the very first day of school. I think we were in our orientation just for that class, and we just happened to be sitting beside each other, and just in absolutely no time, I think I was leaning back on my chair. There was a great big window behind us with blinds on it. And God, this story will not be funny to anyone but me and Farron. So we can cut this out and just cut to a moment where I'm laughing hard and you're laughing politely. And but I was leaning back on my chair, and he had sort of brought up, what would happen if you fell backwards onto those blinds? And for some reason, I decided to physically show what that might look like. And I don't recall the rest of that orientation class because we just laughed throughout the rest of it. And
So you deliberately fell over then, just to see?
No, I did not fall over, but I made it look as though I did.
Oh, okay.
And that ruined Farron for the day, and we just immediately got in trouble, and that was basically what our entire school experience was.
Yeah.
And we were sort of inseparable after that.
Yeah. I had a friend like that at school where we just laugh about stuff, and we were constantly in trouble for laughing when we weren't really doing anything wrong. But
I feel like my love language is jokes.
yeah, I really loved you both in Grand Time in the Rapids.
Thank you.
I saw it twice. I was there opening night and closing night.
That's a
so
fun
much.
journey between the two. You saw it for once for each of the characters I played.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because you played twins in the play, and
That's right.
It was really great how you were able to make it seem like you were two people, because you'd leave one room and come back and as somebody else, and I'd still think you were in the other room. And so I really enjoyed that, and it was a lot of fun to watch.
Oh, thank you. It was an absolute delight to do. It's really fun to, first of all, to just get to do crazy quick changes running behind the set to make sure I re-enter. And I think that what you're explaining, the sentiment of watching the show and going, the other brother's going to enter at any minute. But, the one actor who's playing both of those characters is on stage right now, so it's impossible. Is a testament to the skill of Stuart Lemoyne, who wrote the play. And
it's a brilliant farce. It's like a classic.
It is. I think it's his only farce. He's written a lot of screwball comedies and different sorts of comedies for sure, but that specific kind of farce, I think it's my favorite. There's a lot of farces out there in the world, but it is just so smart and so funny, and I had the absolute best time, because how often do you get to play twins? I always wanted a sibling. I'm an only child, so I kind of got to be one.
Oh, is that why you crave attention?
That's why I crave attention. That's why I'm an actor. That's why I'm here today talking about myself for half an hour.
In Grand Time in the Rapids, you both you and Farron get wet a lot. Different things happen. You spray him with a seltzer bottle, and he throws the ice cubes on you.
Yeah.
And so what was that like? Because he dumps the ice on you, and so when you're in the audience, it's one of those things where you just sort of cringe.
That's real ice.
Yeah, you told me that. Yeah.
It's such an energetic show. And I'm running around changing costumes and beating up Farron, lifting Farron up. We have all these fights on stage that the ice is actually a bit of a relief. It was such a relief to just get cooled down for a moment. It's an aggressive way to cool down, but actually it became one of my favorite moments in the show, because I'd get to lower my body temperature for just a few minutes.
And so, do you remember the first play you were ever in?
The first play I was ever in, I think maybe in grade 8, would be the first one I remember being in was a play called Christmas Comes to Detroit Louie. Okay, and I don't remember much else, but I'm not surprised. Probably done by a lot of elementary schools, a Christmas show. And all I remember is I played the character named Old Man. And so I was however old you are in grade 8, and, flower in your hair to be an old man, and crazy old man makeup on a baby face. And I remember that I just remember loving it. And I was actually quite shy as a kid. And for some reason, I could just really hide in another character, which I really found satisfying.
Yeah, I have that sort of same thing too. And when I talked to Belinda Cornish here, she told me that she was also very shy and didn't get into theater till later. So I find that kind of interesting when you talk to.
I think you'd expect actors to be all extroverts.
Yeah,
Because we go on stage. I think there's a good percentage, but I would wager that there's a higher percentage than you think who are reasonably introverted. I know a lot of actors who will do a big, crazy show and then just need to go home and be quiet and not go out and party or hang out with a bunch of people or...
Yeah, I have that. I have like a regeneration day, I call it, where I have to go home and be just kind of charged like a cell phone. I just can't go
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm very similar, and I think that there a lot of my circle of friends who are actors are very similar. I think because there's a lot of energy that goes out toward an audience, and we enjoy that, but it's an outlet as opposed to something that necessarily feeds us in that same way that an extrovert might be fed by external attention.
Yeah, because in some ways your whole life is about that 2 hours you're on stage, so you kind of save everything for that.
That's exactly it.
Moment.
Yeah.
Do you have any routines or rituals, superstitions, or anything you do?
I try to avoid any. I can be prone to superstition quite nicely, so I tend not to do anything that would create any superstition for me. So other than physical warm-ups, vocal warm-ups, things of that nature that I need to do, because I fall down a lot in shows as it so happens. Otherwise, I try not to do anything the same every day, because then it can become a bit of an obsession.
Yeah, so in Grand Time in the Rapids, do you have to rehearse all those fight moves every show?
We would sometimes do a fight call before the show so that Farron and I could connect to be like, how are you feeling today? I twisted my ankle during the run outside of the show. And so we just had to connect and go like, how's my ankle inside this fight? And it was totally fine, which is great. So just checking in with regularity. It depends on the level of the fight, but yeah, we would touch base on those sorts of things to make sure that we were both in the same place and weren't gonna hurt each other or ourselves.
Yeah, there was something else I wanted to ask about. You both end up swapping pajamas. You fight each other and take each other's clothes. Do you actually switch pajamas, or were there separate pajamas for you and separate ones for him?
In some scenarios, there were separate ones. There were PJ bottoms that, of course, I'm much longer legged than Farron. And also just for the sake of speed, because they had to come off him pretty quickly for me to re-enter holding them, because my character strips him of his clothes. But otherwise, it was mostly all the same clothes. So they were toasty warm. And sometimes wet. There were some, I think also at the end of the play, one of the brothers ends up in Farron's character's Todd's sweater and wearing just whatever clothes he can find because people keep getting stripped.
And Peter Pan Goes Wrong is also another farce. I saw that one as well and really enjoyed it.
Thank you, thanks. Peter Pan Goes Wrong is just the wildest show I've ever done.
Yeah, I didn't recognize you at first because you had the mustache and you had the British accent. I just thought you were some some British actor who'd come in with the troupe. And then I was like, oh my God, that was Andrew MacDonald-Smith in that.
I love, I like being able to change my entire appearance. That's a really satisfying, fun.
Yeah, that's fun, isn't it?
Fun thing. And it was a real mustache, which I'm actually starting to grow now. It takes about a month for me to be able to do it. And that show is just absolute mayhem. It's, you're watching Peter Pan by an amateur theater group that goes completely wrong from word one. And my character is trying to hold it together because he directed the play and also gave himself the juicy role of Captain Hook.
Yeah.
And the things going wrong, but correctly, is just so exciting. It's so fun to be on stage for. I actually really love when things normally go wrong, because that the liveness of theater is so.
What's the weirdest thing you've had happen or go wrong in a play?
Oh boy, I did The Wizard of Oz many years ago. I think it was one of my earliest professional roles. I played the Scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz at the Mayfield Dinner Theater in Edmonton. And there's the famous part at the end toward the end of the play where the witch is threatening to burn the Scarecrow, and Dorothy says, "No, I won't let you," and picks up a bucket of water and throws it on the witch, and she melts. We were at that part of the play. It just so happened, blocking-wise, I got to have my back to the audience, and got to watch this entire thing occur, wherein the woman playing Dorothy said, "No, I won't let you," and turned, and there was no bucket. No one had set the bucket of water for that scene, so there was absolutely nothing to be done. And I watched 20 actors try to figure out what you do when the water isn't there to melt the witch.
Yeah.
The sound cue of the melting sound has to be fired after she says, "No, I won't let you." So there's nothing happening, but there is a and smoke sort of where she was standing, but she's not melting. And from the opposite side of the stage, the Dorothy and all the friends are over here and the witch is in the center. From the opposite side of the stage, slid on a bucket of water. So the Dorothy had to walk all the way across the stage, throw the bucket of water onto the witch, who melted faster than any witch has ever melted in the history of witches melting. She was like, "Oh, what a world, what a world, what a world," and was gone. And I've never been so happy in my life watching that. Like, there was nothing I could do. I watched the gentleman playing the lion decide whether he was going to try and spit on her, I think. I think he was thinking, should I spit? No, I can't do that.
I think you could just mime a bucket
in
the audience.
It was just, I love when that happens, because seeing actors try to work on their feet, succeed or fail, it is an absolute thrill.
Was it something that the audience noticed as having gone wrong? Did you hear anybody talk about it later?
I didn't. I can't imagine they didn't notice, but it was, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't notice.
Oh, it's interesting. I was talking to Trevor Schmidt, I think it was, who was telling me about a play he was in, and some doors were supposed to open and he was supposed to enter, and somehow the doors opened and then closed again, and then opened, and then he came in, and then he said people came up to him later and said, "Oh, that was so brilliant and avant-garde, the way the doors closed before you came back in," and they thought it was part of the show. So sometimes the audience doesn't even notice.
I think you can discover complete happy accidents inside of things that go wrong in shows. I did a show where a boat was supposed to come on, and it just didn't. And so a bunch of actors came on stage with chairs and built a boat out of chairs, and then they did the scene without the boat there, but chairs, and it was thrilling. And the scene had all this extra energy because everyone was problem solving and trying to fix it, and the audience like screamed with applause once they had built the chairs or built the boat with the chairs.
Yeah.
I think that that's what we go to theater for. I think is that magical, live experience where anything can happen. And Peter Pan Goes Wrong is definitely one of those plays, because the audience is encouraged to take part in the show by yelling out at us.
Pantomime element. What's that like when kids are yelling out and stuff like that in the audience?
Well, it's interesting because inside the conceit of that play, my character does not want it to be a pantomime, and another actor really wants it to be a pantomime, so he's encouraging people to boo hook and to do the he's behind you, and but
he's not
having a good time with that. It's very irritating, and he's being booed, and it hurts him. he's hurt by people booing him. He's trying to give his best performance as Captain Hook, and he's being booed. So I love it because I get to hate it.
Yeah.
And I get to boo them back. There's nothing more enjoyable than getting to boo a little girl in the front row back. That is one of my absolute favorite memories of doing that show, and I cannot wait to do it again in Vancouver this fall.
Yeah, as Captain Hook, you interact with the audience each night, so there's, it's different every time.
Yeah, and that's what I really love about theaters. I like consistency. I like trying to do the same performance, but I think there's a beautiful magic inside of live theater where you get to try, within reason, new things, or something can change. Someone can yell out something differently. Yeah. There's a whole section in that play where people would yell out things to try and help me, and I yell back, and we've had all sorts of, a guy yelled, "Do you need a hand?" And of course I'm Hook.
Yeah.
And I love that. It's so fun, because then it's different for me every day, and we've done it a whole bunch of times.
And you do improv as well at the Varscona Theatre, so you have a good background in terms of responding to that kind of thing.
That's right. I think Edmonton overall, many actors in Edmonton are really strong with improvisation, because we've got rapid fire theater and Dynasty, and the ability to work on your feet is, I think, so necessary for an actor in live theater, and Edmonton has such a good culture of that I think that getting to utilize those skills is really valuable for an actor, so that you're not stuck in your little rut, and you can let the audience in and
Do you know the dates of Peter Pan Goes Wrong in Vancouver, if anybody's going to be there during that run?
We open really early in September. I can't remember quite when we open. It might be like September 8th until October 17th
Okay.
at the Arts Club.
Yeah, September 8th. I'll be watching Star Trek Strange New Worlds. I was talking to Belinda Cornish about that. I said I saved the series to premiere it on the on the actual date the original one premiered.
That's
it's
great.
Kind of a take on the
that's a true fan.
1966 to 1922, so the double year and everything. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Do you have a favorite character that you've played?
A favorite character?
Or
Boy, I've
performance,
been
production?
so incredibly lucky to work on a lot of dream roles that I've had, as well as work on shows that have become dream roles. Within doing it, going, oh, this would have been a dream role if I'd known about it. I loved playing Boyd and Gavin in The Grand Time of the Rapids.
Yeah.
I really, I played Bert in Mary Poppins, and that was just a special show for me because Dick Van Dyke I really idolized
I love him as well.
as a young person, and in that production, it's not written that way in the stage production, but I got to do the Dick Van Dyke track of the show where Dick Van Dyke played Bert, but he also played the bank chairman.
Yeah. I didn't know that until I was
didn't
older.
know that until I was older as well.
Oh, that's interesting.
And
yeah.
so in our production, Michael Shimada, who's just a phenomenal director from Victoria, he runs the Belfry Theatre in Victoria, he really wanted to pay homage to the original Mary Poppins, so he let me play the bank chairman, and I just loved getting to do that. That was
that's
really
one of those
special.
great old movies. Every time I see it on TV, I just stop and watch it when
You
I
have
see
to.
it on. Yeah.
You absolutely have to. He's just the most joyful man.
And it was interesting. I figured out he was the bank manager because of Diagnosis Murder. Did you ever watch that?
I have seen it.
It was
but
one where he was playing an old man, investigating murder. And so I thought, oh my God, that's the old man from Mary Poppins. And then it clicked where I thought, it was him all along.
I love that. In the credits of Mary Poppins,
Yeah, I saw it.
his name is an
recently, it scrambles
anagram.
Around. Yeah,
That's
I
right.
never saw that as a kid for some reason. But
I don't know if that maybe got added later.
Maybe.
Because the name was an anagram of Dick Van Dyke, the fake name of whoever played it. But I can't remember if that was the case when we would have seen it as younger kids.
Yeah, but I used to watch Diagnosis Murder. My mom's a big murder mystery fan.
Okay.
She liked Murder, She Wrote, Matlock, and I'd stay up and watch them.
Yes.
So I kind of have that bug where I like to watch those. So yeah, I used to watch Diagnosis Murder all the time. Tell me about your cabaret. You're writing or working on a cabaret with Stuart Lemoyne.
That's right. So it's a partnership that Edmonton Opera has with the Citadel Theatre. And in June of 2023, Stuart and I are currently in the creation process of a cabaret show for me called My First 100 Years, which is a completely made up biography of my first 100 years of my career as an actor, because I'm very old, but I don't look it. And so we're right now creating this really fun, funny cabaret that will have music from spanning 100 years, very likely, filled with absolutely true made-up stories.
Okay, and when can we look forward to that?
That'll be in June 2023,
Next year,
and
okay.
at the Citadel Theatre.
Oh, the Citadel?
It'll be in their club, that really great little concert
is that
space.
the Rice?
Yeah, it was
space?
the Rice, and
Theatre?
I think it's called the club now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in that same space.
Well, thank you so much for being here. It was really a pleasure to talk to you, and I look forward to seeing you both in Jersey Boys and your cabaret. I'll
Thank you so
definitely be
much.
there for both of those, and hopefully I'll be here next week and you won't replace me. So,
Who knows?
Well, I don't know. So thank you again for being here. I'm Trevor Talbot, and you've been watching The Scene. Thank you very much for joining me. Good night.